If someone said to me, would you have been able to play a straight lead or a gay character in a romantic series, what would feel more possible at the age of 12? I probably would have said a straight lead.
The circumstances I grew up in, I was in this industry at a time that was very repressive, and it was very hard to be an openly gay person. As a matter of fact, it could cost you your career.
I moved to New York in the early 1980s, and there was this thing called AIDS that hit. Although we were watching people die around us, we still managed to fall in love, and it was like very confusing.
I grew up during the 70s and the 80s. Being in those hospital rooms, there's many days on set that I can stay for 1 or 2 takes, but then I have to walk away because the performances are so extraordinary.
Everything that Marcus faces in terms of racism, homophobia, I've experienced since the day I was born.
I never had anyone to talk to about my feelings of being a gay young man, a gay athlete.
In the 70s, we talked about anything else. You couldn't speak about being homosexual. It was so hard.
I carry around with me every day that I am a man of color living with a queer experience.
I've been so fortunate to also be on this new bubble where people are open and accepting. I thought I knew a great deal of our history, and I realized that my understanding of LGBTQIA+ history really began at Stonewall. I didn't know what was going on before that.
I was surprised at the level by which people had to homogenize themselves in order to survive.
The amount of cover that these characters had to have to protect themselves was vital.
Throughout history and even today, it really is its own act of protest to just be yourself.
So it was very interesting for me to jump back another decade and see really what led up to Stonewall.
As a gay man, I felt like I've been hunting and sniffing this out for so long.
When I was coming of age, I wasn't like, oh, let's go to the movies because maybe I'll see a gay character. That was not even in the realm of possibility.
I felt an affinity with Tim's character because I really understood what it's like to grow up Catholic and to have a secret like that.
I think the first time that I became emotional about, seeing myself on television was the Dawson's Creek kiss.
I think I was 13 or 14 years old, and there was a movie that came on television called An Early Frost.
I remember reading the story, and it was like the first time I saw King T'Challa in Black Panther.
When I was younger, I didn't ever know if I'd have a love story or know what that felt like.
These are the stories of the men who came before us, who have created the pathway for us to be making this TV show.
If you look back through queer history, it is the queens of color that have actually been responsible for creating real and lasting change and having audiences see that. And the first time in a real way is going to be so exciting. I think it's very important.
Oh, blimey.
There's a lot of things I want to tell myself.
Live authentically, no matter the consequences.
There are so many people like you that are feeling this that are just as isolated.
Thank you for being daring and taking the dive into who you are.
It's going to be okay. You don't have to be so hard on yourself.
It's easy to despair because things are dark. But the only point to be in this struggle is to find the joy.